Did you know that Nigeria is now one of the fastest growing e-commerce markets in Africa, with millions of people shopping online every year? But here's the interesting part. Over 60% of online shoppers in Nigeria still say they don't fully trust online transactions. So the big question is this: how do we scale e-commerce in a country where digital trust is still a major barrier? Hi and welcome to Tech Up. My name is Victor. Okay, and before we dive into this particular conversation, let's first keep you updated in the world of technology. Sweden-based caller identification platform Truecaller has announced plans to lay off about 70 employees, representing roughly 15% of its workforce. Now, the company says the decision follows a sharp decline in revenue and profitability in the first quarter of 2026. Now, it also reported that the revenue dropped by 27% year on year. India revenue fell by 41%, which of course is the biggest market. Advertising income weakened significantly as well. External pressures, including regulatory shifts in India and global economic tensions, also affected their performance. Meanwhile, Meta is offering up to $3,000, which is around 4.2 million naira monthly, to creators who post content originally made for TikTok and YouTube. Now, the program, which is called Content Fast Track, is designed to attract top creators and boost engagement on Facebook's short-form video ecosystem. Now, industry voices, however, say that the move may reflect pressure from increasing competition in the creator economy. And Starlink is exploring long-term plans to extend satellite-based internet infrastructure beyond Earth. Now, the idea is to place satellites around the moon that communicate using laser links, sending data through focused beams of light instead of the traditional radio. And that's what I have for you on the Tech News Update today. Now, today on Tech Hub, we are focusing on something that affects almost every Nigerian, which is how we buy, how we sell, and of course, trust online. Now, from fashion to electronics, groceries to gadgets, e-commerce is no longer the future, it is the present. But the big challenge remains: how do we build a system that is fast, reliable, and trusted by everyday users? And to help us break this down, we are joined by the CEO of Jumia Nigeria, Mr. Temidayo Ojo. Mr. Temidayo, thank you for being here with us today.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're welcome. Now, we see that e-commerce in Nigeria has grown rapidly, but the major challenge is trust, which of course, like I said, is a major issue. Now, from your experience, what is the real state of online shopping in Nigeria today?
Well, we'll say that we have seen significant improvement in that position, particularly with consumers, even with sellers alike. I'll just give you some data around this. So for us on Jumia, we've seen improves. Our repurchase rate improved by about 185 basis points year on year. This is a direct indicator that consumers are returning because they trust our platform to deliver as we promise. And that is translating into performance for the business. Our gross profit grew by 40% year on year to $9.4 million this year. And we continue to invest in infrastructure and technology to continue to build and develop that trust and reduce that trust gap. So buyer and seller protection mechanisms like our transparent return policies, our verified seller onboarding process are part of the things that we are doing to address and to reduce this trust gap. And we are seeing that with increased usage on both the consumer side, using the app for their everyday purchases, as well as the SME businesses and seller side that are also looking to Jumia to scale their businesses. So we are seeing improvement in engagement on both sides, all as a result of reduction in the trust issue. So the trust barrier is gradually being taken care of.
All right. Now, when you said the trust barrier is gradually being taken care of, many Nigerians actually still prepared to pay on delivery, which again is a trust issue. Now, so why is the trust still fragile in that particular regards, rather?
So in addition to, so the pay on delivery is just a means of getting comfort, right?
Of
It's
course.
the traditional consumer is used to, making sure that they see, feel, touch what it is that they're buying before they actually buy it. And usually the biggest question in the mind of the consumer is what I see versus what I actually get when
Right.
the item is delivered to. And right, so for us, introducing things like payment on delivery is to provide some additional layer of comfort and telling the customer that there is no risk here. If you buy an item and it gets to you and you are not happy with the item, you have a 7-day window through which you can return the item and get a full refund. But at the end of the day, for us, the key measure for us is to make sure that we don't even get returns in the first place. So we keep our customer promise, ensuring that we properly vet all items and products that are listed on our platforms, including the product listings of what the product can do, and make sure that we are dealing on it seriously and effectively and in an active manner with all forms of counterfeit products that might be listed and all substandard products that might be listed. And this is something that is part of the service that we offer on the platform to kind of ensure that the question of even having to return the item because it doesn't meet the expectations of what was advertised doesn't come up. And so then as that happens, the need to have to pay on delivery as a trust comfort measure kind of reduces. We're also seeing that as well. So we are seeing also the numbers of the share of our customers that are willing to prepay increase year on year. We've actually seen almost 30-40% year on year growth in our customers that are willing to prepay to get their items versus last year.
Of course, we also see quite a number of challenges in that particular regard, because whilst you say that e-commerce companies basically are working on ensuring that there are no low standard products, of course, there in the market. Now, we've seen situations where people still have the what I ordered versus what I got, which is something that still happens, on daily basis. And of course, you've seen that has now become more like a local parlance in this part of the world. Someone says to you, "I hope what you ordered versus what you got, they are different things as it is." But what are you doing to ensuring that all of that is completely eradicated? That we don't even have to see products that don't match the standard that buyers are looking out for on various platforms.
So we take that very seriously because, as I mentioned earlier, as we all aware, it's a very key element to building trust, and we tackle it on different layers. And we've actually invested a lot behind ensuring that the products or contents that are listed on our platform are safe as advertised, and they have the best of the highest standards and quality. We are a marketplace, and so what we've done is we have an entire team that is dedicated to crawling our website, crawling our channels, and making sure that we kind of continuously delist or remove these kind of products from our platform. We also are leveraging AI to kind of increase the pace at which, and the speed and the scope and the scale at which we can do this. So AI is really helping us to accelerate on catching counterfeits and removing products. We rely a lot on feedback from consumers, so we use a lot the consumer ratings, the customer ratings, the seller ratings, and all of that to determine what can be listed on our platform. So we do have instances where we delist sellers and where we see repeated offenders bringing either counterfeit products or substandard products on our platforms. We penalize them, and in many cases, we eventually have to delist them if there's no change of behavior. Right. So this is also stuff that we do ongoing. We're also working very closely with the authorities, with the consumer protection agencies, with some standard organization of Nigeria, to ensure that we are up to date with right standards, the right expectations from the regulatory point of view, and we apply that to what is listed on our platforms. In many instances, we also, where it is required, we include these requirements as part of onboarding, as part of the onboarding journey for our sellers. So at the point of onboarding a seller, or vendor or the products. We ask them to meet the requirements if there are the local requirements regulatory wise for listing those products. So all of these it's an ongoing process. But because we're a marketplace, we constantly have new sellers onboarding, getting onto our platform, and so every now and then you see you have one bad apple pop up, but we are constantly watching this to make sure that we protect our consumers and protect the integrity of our platform.
All right. Now, of course, earlier you mentioned the use of AI, basically. Now, let's talk about some digital innovation. What role are AI, data, and automation playing in improving customer experience and also reducing fraud or delivery errors? Because these are some of the things that we've also experienced in some of the e-commerce platforms here in the country, Nigeria.
So for us, we are we're very tech first. We're tech first because we're an online platform. We are tech first organization, and for us, we've been very, very open about the use of AI. We've embraced it fully. Actually, we rolled it out the tool across board, across all our teams, and we allow them to kind of drive initiatives around new products, new tools that can be created using AI agents to improve the everyday. And what we have seen is an explosion of ideas. And now we're in the process of curating all those tools and ideas to see what are the best ones that we can standardize across the group, right? But then AI has been very transformative in improving productivity across board, right? If you think about the customer journey, customer service operations, we are using AI to ensure that we are serving customers better. And the customer journey, we are using AI in things like product recommendations, price matching, price comparison to ensure that the customer gets the best experience on the platform. And we also serve a need of the customers, which is to get value for money, especially in the difficult times that we've been facing recently. We also are working with AI in logistics to improve the efficiency of our deliveries, integrating AI with live traffic data to ensure that we are able to deliver faster and also more efficiently to consumers. So AI is like really helpful. Even basically just in reporting as well, and insights and analysis, because we have a ton of data. We have so many data points because we are almost literally digital.
Now let's talk about small businesses in Nigeria, and of course small businesses that are also leveraging on e-commerce platforms. Now, how is the e-commerce platform reshaping the opportunities for small Nigerian businesses and local vendors here in Nigeria?
So for us, one of the things we've always been proud of, and part of the core value or driver for us in e-commerce, is that we believe that e-commerce is an enabler of inclusive growth, actually. So if you think about it, we are a marketplace that we connect millions of consumers with thousands of sellers, and removing the traditional barrier for physical retail to small businesses. So think about, we have many small businesses listed on our platform that are run out of their homes. People running small businesses out of their homes. We think about all the barriers to running a typical retail store. You have to rent a place. You have to invest in inventory. You have to think about how to deliver. Our platform, which is an integrated marketplace with logistics platform, takes care of that, removes all these barriers, and allows entrepreneurial minds, especially the SMEs, to scale and to reach customers at scale without having to worry about all of that. So for this, we are very proud, and we think it's a very strong way to build inclusive growth across the markets in which we operate, especially as we start to expand outside of the typically digital native cities of the big cities of Lagos or Abuja.
Right.
Now we are seeing a lot of good coming from the smaller towns and villages. In fact, 60% of more than 50% of our orders now are coming from smaller towns and villages as well. So we're really happy about what we are seeing there and how we are supporting SMEs. We, from time to time as well, work with government agencies on building and capacity building, training sellers on how to list and how to come on Jumia, which, by the way, is listing on the platform is free. And then also, in addition to that, we provide real-time analytics tools to all these SMEs so that they can actually build a marketing plan. They can think about how their customers are engaging with their products and actually do structured things to grow their business. in addition to providing integrated payments as well. So generally touching on all the pain points for small businesses so that they can focus on just scaling and growing. And I think it's quite relevant for our economies and for our businesses for inclusive growth in the markets that we operate.
All right. Talking about inclusive growth, let's also talk about competition, because you get to find out that right now social media commerce, is growing rapidly as we speak. I mean, on every social media platform right now, you see someone selling a thing or two on those platforms. So how do platforms, or like the already established e-commerce platforms, stay competitive and still relevant in this time and era?
For us, we welcome competition, and for us in particular, we see what is going on in social commerce actually as beneficial to increasing awareness and usage of digital e-commerce channels with consumers, because we still have to build awareness. We're doing it ourselves as well through things like our JForce agent, through the marketing campaigns that we'll do, like Jumia Anniversary that is currently live now, that started 1st of June, which is a consumer initiative. But we also encourage ecosystem effects from social commerce to build awareness of stuff that you can buy online. But for us, our value proposition extends beyond social commerce, because we are an integrated e-commerce versus logistics platform. So what we offer to a business is countrywide scale. You think about someone selling on Gigi or Instagram in Lagos today. How effectively is he able to handle or support an order for someone that is interested in this product that lives in Kano? What we've done at Jumia is that we've integrated logistics into the business in a cost-effective way, such that you can ship items from Lagos to Kano. So that means the customer can buy a product from your product in Kano and get it at an affordable price that doesn't detract him from making that purchase. So we provide that kind of scale, which today a lot of the social commerce platforms are not able to do today, because they are still kind of very localized to the immediate environments in which they operate. But we welcome the ecosystem effect of building awareness and just driving that online behavior with consumers and through social commerce.
All right. Now let's look futuristically now. Say in the next 5 years, what will e-commerce in Nigeria look like?
In terms of in the next 5 years, what we see is a more inclusive or more extended usage of e-commerce. E-commerce provides convenience. It provides options and access, particularly to people in rural and suburban areas that don't have access to products. We provide city prices to these people without the transport or logistics premium. In the next 5 years, we expect to see very dramatic increase in the adoption of e-commerce across board, not just in the big cities, but even in the small towns and villages as well. Already in terms of payment is already very, very, very advanced, and the payment space or the fintech space is really, really active in Nigeria at the moment. We are hoping that, from what I would say, that already it's getting close to similar levels in the Western market. So we would see maybe more AI adoption around payments. So things like contactless payments, things like biometric payments will probably be coming in the next 5 years. On the e-commerce side, it's just more about adoption and bringing more people into the e-commerce usage, and driving usage of e-commerce platforms. We will see more purchases happening online. We'll also see ticket sizes increasing online, because now people are testing the waters and trying to say, okay, let me test the water with something that is affordable, something I can take a risk or a chance on. But then we see the future where even bigger ticket items start to come in. We are also experimenting with things like, delivering things like motorcycles, even cars, sales via e-commerce in the future. So we move away from just the traditional electronics or phones, TVs that we're doing today. So there's a lot of things that are happening at the moment that portend for very exciting times ahead for e-commerce. We also expect that the share of the economy that will be driven online will significantly increase in the next 5 years.
5 years. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Temidayo Ojo, for your time with us today. I appreciate you, and congratulations on the anniversary as well.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Do have yourself a blessed day.
All right.
All right, so we've been talking with Mr. Temidayo Ojo, the CEO of Jumia Nigeria. And of course, we've been talking about the future of e-commerce here in our country, Nigeria. Now, let's go on a break. When we'll come back, it's going to be time for the how-to segment. Do stay with us.
In a world where every swipe, click, or tap is shaping our future, technology is no longer a distant dream. It is the heartbeat of Africa and the world at large. From innovations to gadgets to startups and digital lifestyles, Tech Up with Victor takes you round. A show that makes technology simple, practical, and exciting for everyone. Join us every week on RapidTV as we break down tech trends, spotlight African innovators, and connect Africa's digital story to the global stage. Tech Up with Victor, where innovation meets you.
All right, this is the how-to segment. If you want to start an e-commerce in Nigeria today, these are some of the things that you need to do. 1, pick a clear niche. Don't sell everything. Focus on one product category. And 2, build trust first. Use reproduct photos, honest pricing, and verified reviews. 3, sell across platforms. Combine Instagram, WhatsApp, website, and marketplaces just like Jumia Nigeria does. And 4, serve delivery early. Partner with logistic companies instead of trying to build your own system too early. And 5, start small, scale smart, test demand before investing heavily in stock. Now let's move on to tech tip of the day. If you are buying online, always check verified seller badge, real customer reviews, not just the ratings, and then return and refund policy. Just in case you're not you don't like the product that you got, you can always find a way to return it, but you can only get to do that once you know what the return policy is about. But most importantly, if a deal looks too good to be true, please pause and verify before you proceed. Now remember, e-commerce in Nigeria is growing very fast, but the real currency of digital marketplace is not just money, it is trust. And as technology improves, the winners will be the companies and entrepreneurs who can combine speed, convenience, and credibility. And these are the things that you must need to have as a person who wants to get into the e-commerce business, both here in Nigeria, in Africa, and the world at large. Well, thank you so much for being here with us. This is Tech Up. Until next time, do stay techy. My name is Victor. Okay.